Hi, welcome to the Bitly Works Anywhere You Do webinar with a twist. I'm Kelsey Stevenson, Head of Product here at Bitly, and I'm joined today by Hannah Stone, a Bitly Product Specialist. As Hannah and I host this webinar from our homes, we're personally aware of how much we've had to all adapt and be flexible in the way that we work over the past year. Many of us are working from home, using new technologies, and learning new ways to collaborate and be more productive. So it's only fitting that we here at Bitly have decided to release some new features that make our product even more adaptable to the different ways you're choosing to work. Over the course of this webinar, we're going to walk through and talk about some of Bitly's new features and some older features that have been designed to bring the power of shortening and branding into whatever workflow works best for you. The twist on this webinar, Hannah will be demonstrating step-by-step how you can start making use of these features right away. All right, we're first going to walk through our newest feature, Csv Bulk Shortening. Then we'll talk about how to integrate with other applications, our Chrome extension, and the Bitly mobile app. We'll take a few questions after each demo, and then we'll show you where you can access more information. And if we have time at the end, we'll answer more questions. Before we get going, I'll turn it over to Hannah, who's going to take us through a few housekeeping items.
Hi, everyone. As Kelsey said, I'm Hannah Stone, a product specialist on the Bitly team. And I do want to bring your attention to our Q&A, which, as Kelsey mentioned, is live and will be monitored throughout our whole session. After each demonstration, we'll answer your questions as they come up and pause in between each demo. And we'll also make some time for questions at the end. And I also want to mention that you will receive a recording of today's webinar in our follow-up email. So look out for that to share with any team members who weren't able to attend today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hannah. Well, let's jump in. So love them or hate them, there's often no way to avoid spreadsheets. And we know that a lot of you, whether you work at big companies, small companies, often maintain Excel or Google spreadsheets to manage your links. Maybe you're appending UTM parameters, tags, titles. Well, rather than going through the spreadsheet, copying and pasting each link into Bitly, and then shortening, branding, changing the custom back half, and then copying and pasting them back into your beloved spreadsheet, we've made it a lot simpler for you. Now you can shorten and brand up to 10,000 links at one time by simply importing your spreadsheet into Bitly, and then you can export that spreadsheet with the shortened links. This should not only save you a ton of time, but also reduce copy and paste errors. And for those of you who have asked us for a G-Sheets integration or an Excel integration, this functionality should meet a lot of your needs. How many links you can shorten at a time depends on the paid plan that you have. Basic users can shorten up to 100 links at a time. Premium customers can shorten and export up to 3,000 links at a time. And enterprise customers, you can shorten and export up to 10,000 links at one time. Now I'll turn it back to Hannah, who will show you how to do this in our application.
Thanks, Kelsey. Let's go down into the Bitly web app to talk through the process of using our Csv import. So when you're inside your Bitly platform, first, I just want to call out if you are an enterprise or developer user and you've made use of our groups function, make sure you're working inside of your correct group. So under your settings menu in Change Group, you can make sure that you're working in the group that you want to generate these links into. So when you're ready to use our CSV import, you're going to go into the Create menu just like if you were creating one link manually. So I'm going to go down into Create a Link. And instead of pasting a single long URL here, I'm going to go down to this bottom function, Bulk Import URLs from CSV. Now the process is pretty simple. I'll zoom in a little bit here. You'll be able to see directions. You'll be able to download our template to use to import all of those URLs. Then once you're ready, you can select that file and import it, even selecting which domain you want to use. So let's go look at that template itself. I've got that ready here. So when you download the template, it'll open up in any spreadsheet reader that you might be using, whether that's Excel, in this case on my Apple computer, I'm using numbers. But the template will open up. It'll be able to be editable and modified in the fields that you can modify. So first, of course, the long URL, that's the link that you're going to be shortening. You're going to take it from that long URL to the short one. You also are able to enter a custom backhalf for each link if you are using our custom links capability, making a modification to what's after the slash in your link. You can use our template to make that happen as well. You can add a tag. It's a management function inside of our Bitly platform and something you can also include here, as well as a custom title for the link that you're creating. So you can do a lot of the same link management and customization functions that you do inside the web app using our CSV import. So when you've made your modifications, I'll show you one that I have ready for us to use today. Now, I'm going to make a few links about recipes for chocolate chip cookies. It's one of my favorite foods. So I've got my 3 separate links here. I'm going to give each of them a backhalf that's relevant to the link itself. So in this case, the source of where I found this recipe. I'll give it the recipes tag as well, so I can give that organization level inside of my account. And then I'll also give that link a title. One thing to note as you're using this import template, that the long URL is the only required field. So if you wanted to only put in just a long list of your long URLs, you don't need to do any customization. Just leave the cells under the backhalf tags and title column blank. If you make any modifications at all to this header, it will make that interface unable to read the file. So don't make any changes to that header, and don't remove any of those columns, and you'll be good to go. One other tip, make sure when you are saving this completed file, you're exporting it as a CSV file type rather than an Excel or other spreadsheet file type. It does need to be a CSV for the interface to read it properly, but any spreadsheet reader should be able to export that file as a CSV. So let's go back into the Bitly platform here and select that chocolate chip cookie file that we're ready to use. Under my desktop, I've got my CSV file ready to go. I'm going to open that. And then I also have the option to select a custom domain. If you are using a branded domain with Bitly, you can make sure the links that you're creating with the CSV import are also branded. And if you have multiple custom domains available in your account, you can select from the ones that are available in this group. So I'll keep this domain for today. I'll click Submit. And I have a successful import. It might take a few minutes depending on the volume of links I'm creating. As Kelsey said, if you're an enterprise user, you can make thousands and thousands of links in just one import. So what will happen is when that import is complete, I'll receive an email that looks like this, letting me know my links are ready. I can jump right into my Bitly platform to find those links. And the other element to keep in mind is if you are managing spreadsheets with your content, I can view a report inside my organization settings under CSV Bulk Shortening that allows me to see the history of the imports that I've created, as well as download reports on those imports themselves. And that will also include the short link that the import created. So you'll be able to manage all of that content in one place inside of your Bitly platform. So with that, let's pivot back and check on any questions that we have coming in about this feature.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah. And while you're doing that, I'll just say, now I want some chocolate chip cookies.
It sure makes me want some too. So let's check in any questions here. So first, can I edit the template provided for bulk shortening? This is a good question. You can edit it insofar as if you don't need to use any of those customization features, that is creating a custom backhalf or a custom title or a tag, you can leave those fields blank, but we ask that you don't make any changes to the template itself. If you do, you will receive an error when you try to import that file. But otherwise, you can choose which of those features inside the template you want to take advantage of. All right, another question here. Would the bulk function of link creation also work for redirects? that is an interesting question. Right now, the CSV Import feature is just for creating new links, so making new ones that you have. I don't think the CSV right now, that import process allows for creating redirects, but that's really interesting feedback. So if you are interested in having that as a feature for the CSV import, we'd love to hear feedback from our users. So thank you for suggesting that to us. Kelsey, any other thoughts on redirecting by CSV?
I love the suggestion, and I'd love to take that back to the team and consider it as an upgrade. We have had some customers who are using the bulk CSV import as like a bulk edit in one way, where they want to append tags and they've already created the link. So it's not a redirect per se, but they are getting creative in how they are using it. And that is one really cool way. So what they're doing is if they had 10 links and they want to add a tag to those 10 links that already exist, they put them in there, they add the tag via CSV Bulk Import, they import it, and then they can export it, and all of those edits will take place within the platform. So while it doesn't support redirects on a bit.ly link right now, it can support bulk editing on links that already exist.
Great point, Kelsey. Yeah, that's really good to know. The different options that are available even now with the way that the CSV import is. But again, thank you to that question for the really valuable feedback about the CSV import.
All right, so now let's talk about integrating with other applications. Bitly can also integrate with a lot of different applications that you might already be using. In fact, we actually integrate with already 700 different applications. So whether you're working in a social media management platform, a CRM, possibly a productivity tool such as Zapier, it can be annoying to jump back and forth between Bitly and that other application. It can break your workflow. It's far more efficient to simply create the links in whatever application you're working in, and in some cases, even view the analytics of that link in that integration. While we integrate with a ton of apps via the Bitly API, and I will say that that means a lot of these platforms are calling our API and they manage those integrations, we're excited to announce that we've built and now have released a WordPress plugin that Bitly owns and maintains. So Hannah's going to talk us through how to demo, shorten, brand, and look at your analytics from within WordPress.
Excellent. Thanks, Kelsey. Let's go into WordPress and talk about our new plugins. So any of our users who are familiar with WordPress, this interface will be familiar to you. So we're just going to walk through the different functionalities here inside of the Bitly WordPress plugin. And again, if you are a WordPress user, you'll know a little bit about the administration here, where to find your plugins. But here under our plugins, just a moment, we're going to be able to find what plugins we have currently. We're going to look for our any new plugins. We can add a new one here. If you're new to using WordPress or you're new to adding plugins to WordPress, under Add New, you're going to be able to just simply search up Bitly with a keyword search here, and it'll be here in the top left, that recognizable Bitly orange logo here in the top. So we've already got this one active in our account, so let's go and talk a little bit about the settings that we can configure with the WordPress plugin for Bitly. So once you have that plugin installed, you'll be prompted to authorize your access to your Bitly account. And it's really, really simple. All you really need to do is log into Bitly. If you're already logged into your Bitly account in your browser session, it should automatically authorize that access. Otherwise, you can sign in directly right inside of the plugin and create and start creating those links. And if you are new to using Bitly as well, you can even sign up there. inside of that authorization. So once you're connected, you have some additional configuration that you can do inside of the plugin itself. So here we've got, of course, we can set a default organization. Now the important part here is for our enterprise or developer users, you can actually set a default group for your WordPress plugin specifically. If you're using groups, you have a group structure inside of your Bitly account, it's going to be mirrored here in the WordPress once you've authenticated, and it allows you to select which group you want to have all the links that you're making inside of your WordPress plugin go into a specific place in your account. Now within that group, the domains that you have available in that group, if you have multiple ones, you can set the default domain for your WordPress plugin as well. So when you're creating those links, any paid Bitly user with a custom domain configured can connect it here regardless of what type of plan you have. If you have that custom domain as a paid Bitly user, you can use that in WordPress as well. So it's a really good way to make sure that everything's consistent across all your platforms, and you won't have to be clicking back and forth to the Bitly web app to start creating those links. So let's just go through what it looks like in action. So here I've got a brand new blog post that I'm going to create here. I'm going to publish this, and we'll look at what it looks like with the Bitly plugin attached. So I'm just going to go ahead and publish my new post, Hello World. And as soon as I've published this, I'll give it a quick refresh, and I'm going to be able to locate where my WordPress Bitly plugin is here on my new post by scrolling down here to the bottom. And what's great about the Bitly WordPress plugin is not only if I click this Get Short link here, it's automatically going to provide me with this short link that's created in my Bitly account in the group with the domain that I chose in those configuration settings that I can just copy and go directly into how I'm going to share this link. So any of your social channels, however you're promoting your blog on WordPress. The other element to note here with the Bitly plugin is not only do you get to just create the link, but you can get basic tracking information as well. So basic analytics, clicks over the last 7 days are actually going to be visible right inside of the WordPress interface. If you're looking for more detailed analytics, more information on where people are finding your link, where they're located in the world, you're going to be able to find that, of course, inside of your Bitly account where you're managing all those links. But you can even see that basic analytics information directly inside of the WordPress plugin. Now, as Kelsey mentioned, we integrate with tons of different technologies, different applications. So our Bitly Help Center, our support center, has all kinds of helpful integration information. You can just search up the technology that you want to integrate with, and you can find an article to help. So with that, let's pivot back and check on any questions about our integrations. All right, so we have some really good questions coming in specific about our integrations. So first we'll start with a question related to the WordPress one. What should I do if my domain is not showing up in the default domain section when configuring the WordPress integration? That's a very good question. It could be a couple of different things. First, make sure that your domain is properly configured in your Bitly account so that it is verified and your configuration in your domain registrar is all set up properly. If that is the case, I would double check if you're an enterprise or developer user that the domain that you want to use is available in the group that you selected. So remember, we were able to pick a default group as well as a default domain. So just make sure that you are picking a group that has that domain attached that you want to use. A good question. Question about different kinds of integrations. What's an example use case with Salesforce? That is a great question. We have a lot of our Bitly customers that integrate with Salesforce, all different areas of the Salesforce stack. So Salesforce Marketing Cloud, using it directly as a CRM. Of course, Social Studio is a popular integration. I would say that would be a common one. I often help to coordinate integrations with Salesforce Marketing Cloud and Salesforce Mobile Connect. for our customers that want to include bit.ly links in high-volume SMS communication campaigns, whether that's proactive marketing by SMS, or a lot of our customers use bit.ly links in transactional SMS, so things for package tracking or sales confirmations, that kind of thing. So Salesforce is such a vast technology with so many different pieces, and bit.ly integrates with a lot of them. And another question here, is it possible to customize the back half of a branded link via Zapier? That is a very good question. That is a common integration that we have with Zapier for a lot of different ways. I don't know off the top of my head what the integration would look like to do that, but it is possible with all different kinds of integrations to create custom back halves on your bit.ly links. That can be either through a direct API call, through our programmatic API, or with some of our partner integrations, we also allow for customization. So for Zapier, it depends on how you're using it. Kelsey, any thoughts here?
Yeah, Hannah, I can just add to that. This is a very common request. I don't believe that the Zapier integration with bit.ly today supports that. Although, because it's such a common request that has come through users of both Zapier and bit.ly, our product teams have been in contact, as we are oftentimes with other platforms that integrate with our API, and we are looking to enhance that. We don't have a planned release for that, but we have heard that as a common request. So thank you so much for the question.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. And we always love questions that lead to feedback, product feedback. So thank you so much for that question. All right, let's talk a little about bit.ly browser extension.
Awesome. So the bit.ly Chrome extension is another handy way to shorten and brand your links without having to open the bit.ly application. You may be on a web page that you want to share with your customers internally, or maybe just Slack to a friend of yours. And did you know you can simply right-click to create that bit.ly link from within that page? We just added the ability to also generate a QR code directly from the Chrome extension, which makes it super convenient to stay in your zone, shorten, and share your QR code or a link within your Chrome instance. So now I'll turn it to Hannah, who's going to do a pretty fun demo of this as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Kelsey. And I am excited to demo this as an example because I work at bit.ly, and I do a lot of bit.ly onboarding and training, but I also am a bit.ly user, and I use the bit.ly Chrome extension every day in my work. It's very, very convenient. So when you're looking for a Chrome browser extension, if you're a Chrome user, you access the Chrome Web Store. It's simple to get to. You can even just Google bit.ly Chrome extension. It'll get you to this page. To download that extension, authenticate your bit.ly account with it, kind of like you did with WordPress. You sign into bit.ly. When you're ready to start creating those links inside of your bit.ly Chrome extension, it really mirrors the way that you create a link inside of bit.ly. You have a lot of the same capability in there. So I actually have a blog post about today's session about all of the different ways that bit.ly can work anywhere you do. Now, we already have a short link that's ready to go that you can copy, but if I wanted to copy this or if I wanted to shorten the link to this with my own domain, there are a couple of different ways that I can get that Chrome extension open and create that link right on the page. So as Kelsey mentioned, we can right-click right in the field of any page that you're working on and select Shorten bit.ly link. That's going to pop up that Chrome extension. Additionally, if you are a Chrome user, you'll be familiar with these icons at the top. Those are the extensions you have installed in your Chrome browser. So I'm going to click on my bit.ly extension here. It's going to pop out to the right-hand side. Zoom in a bit here so we can see a little better. Now you'll notice a couple of things here. First, as I mentioned, you can really mirror your workflow in bit.ly Enterprise or Developer around groups inside of your browser extension. But the extension is not exclusive to any of our user, any tier, any type of Bitly user can use the extension. But I do want to mention, as an enterprise user under my group switcher, I can actually choose which group I want to shorten this link into inside the extension as well. So let's go into my test group where we created those links earlier today. I also have the option to select which domain I want to use. So I'll select one of my domains here, be ready to create this link. And now I've got it auto-copied. The extension does that for me. I click create, and I've already got my link ready to go. So as soon as I click that create button, that link is live, it's ready to use. I can copy it right here. I can share it, integrate my Twitter account right into Bitly. I can also make customization here. I can customize the back half of this link. I can add a tag, just like I do inside of the Bitly platform itself. The other element that is really cool to see here inside of Bitly, I'll zoom out so we can see it easily, is I can create a QR code right inside of the Bitly platform browser extension. So if I click that QR code button, I'm a QR code user, I want to print this PNG file, put it out on ad campaigns or on a menu, however I want to handle that QR code, I can do it right from the Bitly browser extension as well. So there's lots of flexibility in what you can do, and you can access the browser extension, as I mentioned, from just looking it up in your Chrome browser, and you can also actually click to the Chrome Web Store for the browser extension inside of your Bitly settings under resources. So let's see if we have any questions coming in specific about our browser extension. Okay, good question here. For the Chrome extension, do you need to have a license for an enterprise account in order to generate the Bitly link or QR code? Very good question. So what you'll have access to in the browser extension does mirror your plan type. So if you log in and authenticate your Bitly account and you are an enterprise user, you'll have access to the same features that the Bitly enterprise platform offers you. So if you are interested in using QR codes and you don't have that access in your plan, if you just logged into the Bitly platform, then it also wouldn't be there available in the browser extension, but you can always explore what it would take to get onto that plan. So a really good question, but the Chrome extension, really, you don't have to have any qualification to use it, but it does mirror the same permissions and features that you have inside of your Bitly account.
And Hannah, just to add on to that, I would encourage everyone to keep an eye out for some of our upcoming product releases. We have some enhancements coming to our Chrome extension, coming to our QR code capabilities, and we have some exciting news about plan availability in the near future.
Excellent, great point, Kelsey. Always updating here at Bitly, so keep an eye out for new news. Another question here, I'm not currently using QR codes, but I'm curious about trying. Can you share an example of how they can be effective? This is a good question. It's interesting. QR codes are such a hot feature right now across the world. So right now there are lots of different use cases for QR codes, especially in the last year or so. People are putting them on menus for contactless information, presenting information in a contactless way. That has been really helpful. A lot of our customers find QR codes to be really helpful in direct mailers, anything in print, as well as things like banner ads, either digital or printed ads that are out in the world. QR codes are a good way to access that information from your mobile phone. And I know Kelsey has had some thoughts on QR code use in the past as well. So Kelsey, any thoughts here?
Yeah, and as you were speaking about the creativity, I am always in awe of our customers and how they use QR codes. The other day I saw a woman at the store with a QR code on her shirt, and I was very tempted to take a photo because I was very curious what it went to. But along those lines, a lot of our customers are finding that using a short link through Bitly and maintaining the brand of that link together with the QR code as a really powerful way to engage with their customers. And what I mean by that, thinking about accessibility and familiarity of our customers clicking and using QR codes. Some may sit down at a restaurant, use the QR code menu, but not necessarily have even like the ability to process the QR code on their phone or know how to do it. So having a short link underneath that someone can easily type in and access the same content or the same website, the same menu, is a really powerful use case to use both a bit.ly link and a QR code that go to the same destination.
Absolutely. Such a good point about accessibility as well. And the other element that's good about having both of those options is inside your bit.ly analytics, you'll be able to see which accesses to your content came from that short link typed into a mobile browser or a desktop browser compared to the actual QR code read. So you can also do A/B testing to see, are people engaging with these QR codes? You can get a sense of that from your bit.ly analytics and view that inside of your bit.ly platform as well. So a good way to manage that information. So thank you for that really good question. We're always looking for more information about how our customers are using QR codes. So thank you for sparking that conversation with us.
All right, and moving on, just as Hannah had alluded to the Chrome extension being her favorite feature, the bit.ly mobile app might actually be mine. So oftentimes we are sitting on the couch, or maybe when life goes back to normal, we'll be out and about and we just want to check the status of how our links are performing, or we're playing around on our phone and we see some cool content that we want to share with our friends, our family, our customers. Did you know that bit.ly has a mobile application available on both Apple and Android where you can shorten, brand, customize, you guessed it, and also track performance and analytics from anywhere that you might be? Now I'll turn it over to Hannah once again, who will give us a demo of this app.
Excellent. Thanks, Kelsey. Yeah, so the mobile app can do a lot of the things that the desktop app can do. I also use it, as Kelsey mentioned, to share links with my friends and family, or even if there's content that I want to save, it's a good way to manage those links and manage content inside of your phone. So when you're using the mobile app, our demo here is going to show what it looks like to copy an article from, in this case, Mobile Safari on an iPhone. When you're copying that content from your mobile browser and you drive down into the bit.ly mobile app and you're ready to create that link, it'll automatically read that long URL in your mobile clipboard and prepare to create that short link for you. And it, of course, will copy to your clipboard just like it does when you create it inside the mobile app. I can go into that link, use that edit button in the top right to give it a custom back half. In this case, a blog post about how to redirect links in bit.ly. I'll give it that back half that's relevant to that content. And when I save that link, just like when I'm using it inside of the desktop app, I can share that link right from my mobile app to my other channels, or by SMS, however I want to share that content. So there's a lot that you can do inside the mobile app for link creation, as well as management of your links. So you can, if you are an enterprise or developer user, you can actually navigate in between the different groups. So right now I'm inside my test group. I can manage to switch my groups down to a different enterprise group that I'm working in. Then I can view those links. It's also going to give me the opportunity to sort these links, find the information that I'm looking for. In this case, I can sort by which links are doing the most click engagement. I can view that and those analytics right inside of the mobile app and see how my click engagement is doing. So just like inside the desktop app, I can keep track of that information, view those link metrics, sort and filter my links, navigate between groups. It's going to mirror those permissions that I have inside the desktop app. They'll be available in the mobile app as well. All right, so let's check in to see what questions we have coming in regarding the mobile app. So first, can I export link metrics from the mobile app, or can this only be done via the web app? That's a really good question. So you can always view your analytics. There are different types of exports that can be done from the mobile app. So I'll let Kelsey talk a little bit more about the different capabilities there.
Thank you so much, Hannah. In regards to the link metrics on the mobile app, one thing that the mobile app has that the website doesn't have is this reports functionality. And on a link-by-link basis, you can actually share a report with metrics to whomever you would like on your mobile app. And it will open up a unique link behind it, which will have analytics about that link. So that's super great. I will say if you are trying to download a CSV of all of your link metrics or doing some sort of file-based export, the best location to do that from for multiple links or a large amount of links would be within the web application.
Definitely agree. I think, we can, of course, view everything, in maybe something easier to see visually, as well as export different types of information in that CSV format, especially from the desktop app. But we have lots of information there in the mobile app as well. All right, another question here about accessing our mobile app. If you are SSO enabled for desktop access in Bitly, can you still log into the mobile application? This is a really good question. Right now, in our current state, our SSO configuration works for our desktop web app and not for our mobile app. That is a really good question and really good feedback also for us to know that something that we should be considering. And so right now the answer is we don't have that capability, but we're always open and helpful to that feedback. All right. Okay, well, thank you for those great questions about our mobile app. We've been through so many features today. I do want to make sure I surface some resources to you before we get to our final period of questions. First, resources that are available to you always with Bitly are for help and support. Our Help Center is the best place to go for the information. It's very searchable. You have, information, like I mentioned earlier, about all different types of integrations that Bitly offers, as well as lots of FAQs, how-tos, basic Bitly account information, and information about specific tasks that you want to complete inside the Bitly platform. So you can access the Help Center at bit.ly/here-to-help or inside of your Bitly settings under Help Center. And if you're more of a visual or live learner, we do offer recurring live training sessions. So by webinar format, we offer lots of different sessions every week, if not more frequently. And you can view all of our different sessions at bit.ly.training/webinars or under register for training in your Bitly settings. And you'll hear a familiar voice. I host them with my colleagues, so we'll get to cover lots of information. We dive deep into the Bitly platform, talk through all the different features and functionalities, and of course, we take live questions there as well. So feel free to register for any relevant session for you at bit.ly.training/webinars. And finally, we always have a set of videos that are available on the Bitly Help Center as well. So at bit.ly.video, you can find recordings of some basic to helpful Bitly information, as well as previous webinars like this. You may hear some familiar voices there as well, that we dive deep into certain specific topics. If you're interested in those, you can view them at bit.ly.video. All right, so we have several questions coming in. We'll save maybe about 5 or 6 minutes for these extra questions and get through as many of them as we can. All right, good question here. Is there any way to customize the QR code with one's logo? That's a really good question. Something that we have considered, and we are always working on, as Kelsey mentioned earlier, always working on updates to our QR code offering. So stay tuned for changes there. But Right now, the Bitly QR code offering is how it appears, just a regular QR code in black and white. But stay tuned for any updates about QR codes. You'll hear about them on our Bitly blog. And of course, you'll be able to see those additional features as they get developed inside the platform. Let's see, other questions here. Oh, we have some good ones. All right, would you be able to use the bulk import if you have a custom branded domain name, i.e. generating bulk links with my domain versus Bitly? This is a great question. Absolutely, if you have that domain configured, like I actually demonstrated for the ones that we created together live, I used my custom domain in that import. So I'll be able to go back once those links are created. I'm sure they're ready by now. I could go in, find those links, and they will have that, not just that custom domain, but also the modified back half that I included in the import process. So yes is the answer. If you have that domain integrated in your account and it's verified and ready to use, you can absolutely use that for the CSV bulk importer. Really good question. Okay, let's see. I use Bitly for those long Zoom meeting invitation links. Have you considered creating a plugin for Zoom? That is a good question. I think that sounds like a great idea. Of course, right now you can take any link that you have out in the world that's really long, bring it into your Bitly account and create it there. But of course, we're always looking for new ideas for integrations that we can build. So let's see, any thoughts, Kelsey, on integrating with Zoom?
I love this idea so much. I would love to work on this. I will take it back to the team. And I'll also say that in the interim, I absolutely recommend using the Chrome extension because you can, again, just right click and it'll shorten that link into a Bitly link without having to go back into the Bitly application. But this is definitely feedback we'll take and hopefully come out with some cool features soon.
Absolutely, and we use Zoom internally as well, and I would love to have that even as a Bitly user and a Zoom user. A similar question here, are there plans for a future integration with Socialbakers, which I know is a publishing platform? We can use Bitly, but we can't use our branded URL. Another great suggestion for an external integration. We love hearing from our customers what you're using. So thank you for that suggestion. And I know Socialbakers does currently use a Bitly integration just to create those unbranded links. But it would be great to also include our customers' branded URLs as well. So really good feedback on that. Thank you. All right. Let's see. A couple more questions I think we have time for here. Has the bulk importer been modified to accept apostrophes in the title? The previous version would create an error. This is a really good question, and it's not a bug that had been reported to me or that I had worked on, but it sounds like that may be something that's going on. Kelsey, have we heard anything about apostrophes in the CSV import function?
I have not personally. I will take this back to the team. I can imagine many titles that might need an apostrophe. So I will take this back to the team. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can actually follow up with you as well to the asker of this question to make sure that we close the loop on that specific question. So thank you for surfacing that to us. And we'll make sure to contact you through your account manager as well. All right. Well, we've answered quite a few of your questions. Thank you for all of these and for the ones always that come about, general suggestions or questions that often lead to larger conversations. So thank you. Those are great. One final question I want to surface. Can we have today's recording sent to us? Absolutely. So look out for that that email from us, a follow-up email that should come to you, and that will have a link to that recording that you can send out to your team members who were not able to join today. So I think that brings us to the end of our available time for questions. Thank you again for your wonderful questions throughout the session today, and thank you for joining and for learning a little bit more with us. Kelsey, any final thoughts?
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening to Hannah and I today as we walk through our features. And thank you for being a Bitly user. We really appreciate you and all of your feedback.
I'll second that. Thanks, everybody, for all of your great questions today, for your great engagement, and for your use of Bitly. We love to run sessions like this to make sure you have everything you need. And if you're looking for more, refer to those resources, and we'll make sure you get everything that you need moving forward. So on behalf of myself, Kelsey, everybody at Bitly, thanks, and we hope you have a great